Over the last couple of days, it's become very apparent to me that we in Australia, you and I, we are at the forefront of a battle for internet freedom, for freedom of speech, for the freedom of political communication, the right to share ideas, and the rights of internet freedom that we in our modern societies should have, distinct from the involvement of the government. The biggest part of the internet and the most interesting part of the internet is the ability for humans, for us, to share ideas with each other, to tell our governments to get stuffed, to organize protests, to do all these type of activities that back in the day we would have done in our communities at town halls. But now the internet is the town square, right? The internet is the town hall in many ways. People do get together in communities in one way or another online and make differences in our world, and they make positive changes. Sometimes it's challenging, the scenarios that arise from people gathering together online, but overall the fact that people can do this is a very powerful part of our human nature, which is now being expressed online. Now, there is nothing more that our government would like to do than diminish the ability of people to have this means of communication. And that is why I believe in Australia, we are at the forefront of this battle, because over the last couple of days, we have seen how involved our government is in clamping down on these rights. These government people will tell you that they're doing this to keep you safe. But I'm telling you, there are many people out there who are looking at this, from all experts to just the layman like you and I, who are looking at this, and we can see it for what it is. And it's increasingly appearing like our governments in the West, in particular in countries like Australia, is running rampant. And we are the test case for a lot of this stuff, because they can just push it through with their numbers in their parliaments, pretend to play the whole democratic process. But at the end of the day, what they are doing is clamping down on our ability to communicate with each other and to hold them accountable. People often bring up George Orwell's 1984, this dystopian novel that highlighted the possibilities of such a world. And always we bring up this example, and sometimes people will laugh and mock you for bringing up this example. But increasingly, it does appear that our governments are involved in trying to create some sort of ministry of truth, where they decide what you and I know to be true, right? They are the ultimate judges of what is misinformation and disinformation in this new ministry that they're attempting to set up. They might not use those words. They'll call it the communications bill or the online safety bill. It's always got some nice ring to it, which sounds quite meek, but it's got a lot of teeth. And the way that these things are set up, it is going to drastically change our relationship with the internet and our relationship that we have all fostered with each other on these platforms. Because the sneaky people in the government will tell you, actually, this legislation is designed in such a way that we don't actually decide what piece of content gets removed, deleted, or which account is suspended for spreading misinformation. We're not involved in that. We're just setting industry codes. We're just setting standards for companies to follow to keep all of you Australians safe on the internet. One way or another, the government is going to push this stuff through. But right now, at this stage, all of us, we can submit requests into this. The individual, you and I, we can get involved in this process and ensure that our voices are heard. But I have a feeling that the way that this stuff is going, we're going to see people on the streets protesting, and we're going to see perhaps civil disobedience, because I think this is one of those type of fights where the individual has to make a stand in terms of how far the government is going to take this. Because if you don't, they're just going to take it all the way. And a few years from now, you'll be looking back and thinking, how did I end up where I can't even talk about this topic online anymore? And my account is deleted, right? You will get flashbacks of what it's been like over the last couple of years, when big tech, in cooperation with the government, without any of these laws, did this. But imagine then, with these laws and the cooperation of big tech, how they will silence voices of dissent in the future.